Let's go next to, um, I don't even know what this person's name is. Sean from Massachusetts. Welcome to the program. What is on your mind today?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the college president issue with the comments around genocide and stuff. Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yeah, you're referring to the MIT, Harvard, and UPenn college presidents who had the hearing in DC. They were asked about calling for the genocide of Jews. They kind of fumbled, and I guess as of now, two of the three were fired.
Yeah. Um, maybe I misunderstand the situation, and I want to be clear that I don't think that anyone should be genocide. I certainly disagree with any of those beliefs, but I guess when I sort of watched what when the presidents answered, I thought that their answers were kind of reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
That they were sort of asked a hypothetical. If this is a statement that happens on your campus, is this bullying? And they sort of said, "Oh, it depends on the context." And I guess I just thought that was a reasonable answer. That there would be times that, yes, this is inappropriate for them to say, especially if it's connected with any acts of violence or anything like that. But if someone's just sort of saying it, um,
Well, let's
then
explore that a little bit, Sean. I want to.
sure.
I'm thinking about this with you. Give me a context where calling for the genocide of Jews would be right. You said it depends on the context. Give me
hmm
a context where it would be okay. Like, what's the paint the picture of the scenario where calling for the genocide of Jews on a college campus would be okay.
Sure. So if like someone who is going to college in the USA, but their family lives in Israel, and they have a sign up that says, my entire family was killed on October 7th. I think the Palestinians should be genocide for what happened on October 7th. And it's just a sign. They're not, calling for any acts of violence or anything like that.
But hold on a
Um,
second, Sean. You're not even giving me an example. We're already the
sure, sure.
question was is there are your assertion was there
hmm
could be some situations where calling for the genocide of Jews would be okay. And you just gave me an example of an Israeli student calling for the genocide of Palestinians. Let's go back to what you called in about.
Well,
Give me the example of, just to be consistent, not that calling for any genocide is okay. Give me
right.
an example of where
And are we
calling
defining
for the
okay as like from a, I don't agree with it. I don't think it's correct. I would, certainly talk to this person and say there's better ways to express this opinion, but we have, at least in the US, the First Amendment. And it's like, well, I would defend your right to say it as long as, the moment that it becomes violent, the moment they even physically touch someone and it becomes
Mhm.
physically violent, then I have a problem with it. But if it's just making statements, then
Yeah.
they have a right to say it.
Would the
So,
and would you apply the same thing to if there were students on campus calling for the genocide of trans people or black people or women?
um, again, I guess I'm having a little trouble with your definition of okay. So I wouldn't agree with it. I would say that
You
those
you would-
people
you would
are
say that it
wrong.
should be allowed. It should be the colleges should
Right.
allow that.
Yes, yes, that
Oh,
it's
okay.
that it's their First Amendment right to say these things. There's a man near my home who he holds up a sign near a traffic sort of he's not blocking traffic or anything like that, and it says abortion is a sin, and I am aggressively pro-choice, so I vehemently disagree with him. But he has every right to hold up that sign.
Now,
Um,
you understand, Sean, that there is a difference between a sign in a public place saying abortion is a sin
mhm.
versus calling for the genocide of groups of people based on immutable characteristics on college campuses where they have rules that they can establish, right? Like, I'm not saying one is right or
Sure.
wrong, but you're agreeing that these are two different things.
Absolutely,
You are. Okay.
absolutely.
All right. I
And
think I think the problem really was that we all know that if you had replaced genocide of Jews with trans, gay, women, black students, their answers would have been different. And we know that based on the way that schools have actually behaved in those scenarios, even with falling way short of calling for genocide. But, I don't really have a horse in the race. I thought they fumbled in terms of their performance badly. They lost the confidence of faculty and alumni, et cetera. And so two of them ended up having to resign. It's just, that's what the stakeholders ultimately wanted.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. That's what I wanted to talk about.
All right, Sean, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break and go right back to the phones in a moment. So if you're holding on to talk to me, just hang on a moment longer.